everyone, and welcome back to our daily podcast talk show. Julia, let's kick things off with this big question. When people talk about happiness in life, what does that actually mean? I feel like everyone throws the word around, but it gets slippery when you try to pin it down.
Funny you bring that up, Stephen, because I think most of us mix up happiness with those quick bursts of joy, like eating amazing cake or nailing a presentation. But when people talk about happiness in life, it's usually something deeper, more like a lasting sense of contentment or fulfillment, not just a fleeting good mood.
Yeah, I get that. It's almost like the difference between weather and climate, a sunny day versus a pattern over years. Some people even describe happiness as finding meaning or purpose, not just those little highs.
Exactly, Stephen, and that's why chasing only those little highs can leave people feeling empty. If the goal is long-term happiness, it's gotta be more than just ticking off a bucket list, right?
Julia, so building on that, there's this debate. Some people say happiness is a choice, others claim it's all about life circumstances. Where do you land on that spectrum?
I've wrestled with that. On one hand, your environment absolutely matters. If you're struggling to meet basic needs, happiness isn't just a mindset trick. But I do think, within our circumstances, there's a lot we can do, like shifting our perspective or focusing on what we can control.
That reminds me of people who seem genuinely happy despite tough situations. They almost have this internal toolkit for bouncing back. But then, there are also moments when even the most positive outlook can't override real hardship.
Right, and sometimes pretending everything's fine just backfires. It's that balance, acknowledging what's tough, but still looking for glimmers of good. Maybe happiness lives somewhere in that gray area, between circumstance and choice.
Since we're talking about finding happiness in that gray zone, what are some practical habits you've seen actually make a difference? Like things people can do day to day?
After years of reading and honestly trial and error, I've noticed gratitude journaling pops up everywhere. Listing just a couple things you're thankful for can nudge your brain away from obsessing over what's missing.
I tried that last winter, and it was wild how it shifted my outlook, especially on rough days. I've also heard about the power of social connections, even if it's just talking to a neighbor or calling a friend.
Absolutely. Even quick, genuine interactions can lift your mood. And then there's movement. Getting outside, even for a 10-minute walk, can jolt your brain out of a funk. Small, doable things seem to add up.
Small things adding up makes a lot of sense. But there's this modern hurdle, social media. Scrolling through endless highlight reels, it feels like comparison is the thief of happiness.
Totally. What surprised me most is how sneaky it is. You think you're just catching up, but suddenly you're spiraling into feeling less than. It's almost like our brains are wired to compare, and social media just amplifies it.
It's like everyone else has the secret recipe, right? I found I'm happier when I set boundaries like unfollowing accounts that make me feel bad, or setting a time limit. It's not easy, but it helps.
I've done the same, and it's made a world of difference. Choosing what you consume online is so important, especially if you want to protect your own sense of happiness.
Protecting your happiness is a theme I keep coming back to. Do you think people need to come up with their own personal definition of happiness instead of chasing what everyone else values?
That's huge. Sometimes, we absorb ideas of happiness from family, culture, even ads, without stopping to ask, does this actually matter to me? When people get quiet and reflect on what lights them up, it could be creativity, helping others, learning they start building a happiness that fits.
It's almost freeing, isn't it? Like you don't have to want what everyone else wants. I think that's what makes the pursuit of happiness so personal, and maybe a little messy, but in a good way.
That messiness is part of being human. Happiness isn't one size fits all, and honestly, that's what makes it so interesting to talk about and explore.